yeah. And that's how we started.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. What's up,
Mm.
everyone? Thank you for joining us for another stream of Launchpad. Yeah, we're back. We're working on this skate spot tracking app. I have with me, as always, Trevor Blades. Thank you for joining me, Blades.
Hello.
Yeah.
A pleasure to be here.
Hey,
I'm
yeah,
pumped.
that's it. Yeah, we're pumped. We were just saying, I don't know if you heard us, but we were going heck yeah because we're excited to flip over and get to work on this awesome project. So today, what's up, Sage Dev? What's up, Xander E Quimper? Hello, first of all, and cool. Thank you for dropping that link in the chat. We'll check that out for sure. So. Yeah, so let's see. I guess I should cover what we're building and where we're at, eh? That probably makes the most sense.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah. First of all, I'd love to hear how y'all are doing as well. So let us know in chat how your week is going. We'd love to hear how your Thursday is panning out. And I don't know if anybody here is a React native developer, but you use pan responders for like touch events. So panning out is kind of like a little bit of a pun. But anyway,
Uh,
if I have to explain it, it's not very punny.
that's true. It's not so much like the the like terrible dad joke, man. Thing doesn't really like apply if it's not self-evident, right? You get a pass. I'm saying it's in your favor.
Oh, okay. Then we'll flip it. 93 LOD and Gustavum, thank you for the follow. Thanks for joining us. We're glad to have you all here. So we're building an app that allows you to track skate spots. You're out, you're skating, you find an awesome spot. You want to track it. So what do? You pull out your phone, you open up Spot Check, and you record it, right? You find the location and you record it. So the app is built using Apollo Client, surprise, surprise, as well as AWS Amplify. That's what's handling a lot of our backend infrastructure for us, both the data storage and authentication. We are using Expo to make the React Native development lifecycle much faster and more pleasing. And then we are also using, React Native, right? And so that's the base of it. So that's kind of the stack that we're working with. Where we've gotten to up to this point, and we'll switch over to the code view here in just a sec so y'all can see the app and the code and all that fun jazz. But where we've gotten to so far is we have the ability to save our spots, add a little description to them, and we're pulling that data back out of AppSync. But right now we're just kind of listing we're putting the pins on the map, but we're just like dropping them out and centering on the first one. Now the problem is like, how do we navigate around, right? Like, how do we find these spots on our map without having to like zoom out and look at the whole world, right? So where we left off was we were going to implement some sort of like probably a little like carousel thing at the bottom so that as you move through your skate spots, it would shoop, update the map for you to the new spot. That sounds pretty reasonable. What do you think? All right.
Yep.
Cool.
I think
So
that's the goal.
that is the goal. So we are going to do it. That's what we're going to do. So let me get the app over here loaded. So here we are.
Do you want to toss me a live share link
and a screen share, right? Because you won't be able to
Sure,
see the
yeah.
simulator without that too, right? So I'm gonna share that. And you're right, I should have done the live share first.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, so let me get that going, and hopefully it won't crash or do anything redonkulous like that. So my Thursday's going kind of I had a bunch of 30-minute meetings today. I really didn't feel like I got to focus on much of anything. But chat, oh my gosh. Yo, I just came so close to dropping the link to the live share in Twitch chat, which would have been epic.
Everybody,
Everyone, join us. Yeah, that would be great. Actually, we should do that one day, just like a mob programming sesh. It would be fun. Would you all be interested in that? Let me know. And if you're in the chat and you think that would be fun, we could probably make that happen. Yes, please. Xander's all for it. I love it. Okay, we'll figure it out. I'm gonna figure out how to do some kind of streaming special where we like mob build an app and see what we come up with. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Okay. All right. So you should have access. Let me know if you can get in. Let me know if that loads up for you. And while that's happening, I'm going to start sharing some terminals and all that fun jazz. So let's open up another one. And we'll make
on my way.
And we'll make this read write. And local server. What port is this running on? Localhost 19002. We'll see. What did I say that was? 19002. I think that was it. Cool. All right. So
have you ever seen that Bernie Sanders running meme? Like it's Bernie Sanders running like away from an escalator.
No.
Here. This is me joining, like heading into your VS Code live share.
Oh, I can't wait.
My computer is on fire right now.
No worries. That makes two of us. Oh, here we go. Let me go.
On my way.
Yeah. Let me go check this out real quick. Yeah, that's you. That's amazing. I can't. That's awesome. All right, folks. So, hey, what's up, Matron X? Thanks for joining us. Okay, so like I was saying, so where we left off is what we have here is our spots view. This is home. I really wish we had like a skateboard icon for this. But anyway, long story short, this is home, and this pin is our first spot. So we have that, and you can see here that we have our map view. All right, and we're looping over the items, and we're just dropping in markers. So technically, all the markers for all the spots we've created exist. They're here. They're on the map. You just can't see them because we're zoomed in. And what we're doing here is we set the map position, the initial position from our first location, right? So when we load up, we're just going to load you up to the first spot. It would be really neat to have like a favorite or something, or most visited, like, you know, if I were like really building this out and you could choose where it loaded up to, or it just got your location and picked the closest one. That'd be neat.
That'd be cool.
Right? Yeah. But, I digress. So here we go. So that's what we do, right? We're setting our region to that latitude and longitude, and then we are mapping over everything else. And that's it. That's where we're at. So the next step is here. We have our markers, but what we really want is we want to be able to have some way to like navigate between them. So what we're thinking is some sort of carousel. And so somebody dropped a link in chat. Oh yeah, eQuimper. So let's go check this one out. React Native Snap Carousel. We might even actually, because we're not building.
Chat's got our back.
Yeah, always got our back. Because we're not building something super fancy, we might even be able to just do this with like the native scroll view or flat list. But we'll look. If this looks easy enough to implement, we'll go for it. Wow. Okay. So let's see here. I actually have a carousel that I built a long time ago for Major League Soccer, but it hasn't been maintained a little while. So I figured let's not attempt to use that because who knows what kind of overhead that is. But I actually did put a feeler out today to see if anybody's interested in maintaining it. I've just been away from React Native for a while. So it just hasn't been a high priority for me to go in there and maintain that project, but it's a good project. I mean, I'm not even familiar with this one. So this one could be way better, but point being is that it exists and it was pretty cool. And I'm looking for maintainers. So let's take a look. Yeah, this looks like exactly what we want, right? Nice and simple. We don't need anything fancy. Yeah. So here we go. So yeah, we don't need this. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, this is a great one. But this is what we're after.
Yeah?
This first one.
You used this one before?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is a good library.
Cool.
And there was a reason why I didn't use it. Yeah, 3 years ago. There was a reason why I didn't use this for MLS, and I can't remember, but I'm sure it's come a long way. We can see that it's like actively updated, which is nice. Okay, so let's go down. Let's go down to real world examples. Here it is in the wild, folks. But this is kind of what we're after.
Ooh.
And here we go. This is exactly what we're after. So if we look
Yeah.
here at this example, this is literally what we're going to do. We're going to have a carousel at the
Scroll
bottom.
and recenter the map.
You got it. Scroll and recenter the map. Oh my goodness. Shut the front door. Nobody wants to maintain React Native carousels. Yo, I am dying.
So funny.
I am dying.
History is a loop.
Yo, history is a loop. Ugh. That's awesome. That's cool. Well, they're not abandoning it, which I did, basically. But they are keeping it alive and well. But all right. But long story short, we should be good with this. It looks actually very simple. So we're gonna have to figure out exactly how this works, but I think we can get there.
Why? Yeah. It looks easy enough. Like we render a carousel component, pass it a render function, give it some a width prop. Excuse me, a width prop data.
And the item width.
And the item width. What's the difference between item and a slider?
So this is an interesting thing. So like because of the way that React Native works, I actually dealt with this when I made mine. And it also has to do with like if we look at this example, so the slider width is like how big is the actual slider, and in this case it's the whole screen, right? Like we want the whole screen to be treated as that. But look at how you have this peak. So you see how the edge of the next item is peeking over. So that allows you to we set the item width to like the width of this outside component, and then it will like know to center that within your actual width, and then you can get that cool kind of peaking so you can see like if there's a next one. Does that make sense?
Got you. Yep.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and we'll install this, and then we'll start building out our component for the carousel. Okay. Yes. So let's go down here. So we're going to yarn install this. You know what time it is. Oh, yarn install, yarn add.
I'm surprised that they don't just
alias it.
Alias that. Yeah.
I know. It's like Git. It's like, oh, did you mean to? Well, if you know what I meant, why didn't you just do it?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like a command, right? Like yes, no. All right. Okay. Well, actually, elevator got there first. We reached our destination. Speaking of elevators, have y'all ever seen the show Leverage?
I've never seen the show Leverage.
Is it
about elevators?
Often there are elevators in the show. It's a show about a group of thieves who like steal things back for good, though. So it's not like, you know, they're not like bad. But anyway, it's like a group of, well, like thieves and insurance investigators, kind of like the leader, like the mastermind of the group. And then you have the tech person, the professional, like cat burglar, the grifter, and then like the muscle. And they're like a group, and they do like all these cool, like, you know, things to like help, you know, the vulnerable person like get something back, or like, you know, like resolve some kind of issue. And it's really cool. It's a fun show. But anyway, I started rewatching it again last night, and so it was just on my mind because there was like an elevator scene. Oh no, Skype froze. I was like, okay, I guess Blades doesn't care, but Skype is frozen. So when we run React Native, sometimes when I install packages, Skype freezes. So don't ask me why, but I'll be right back because I gotta go get Blades. Fun times. And I got him back. All right, cool. So as I was saying, I don't know how much you caught there or missed there at the end, but that show Leverage, there was an elevator scene, and that's how I got on the topic. But thanks for
Oh
joining
yeah.
us again. Yeah, that is the weirdest thing, though. I install packages. This only happens when I'm running the simulator and running React Native. Install a package, and Skype just goes to sleep. But we are back, and we have our React Native Snap carousel installed. So let's do this. Let's go back. But you should be fine. You're still in the live share, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm in here.
Cool. So let's go back to the docs and just take a look. So we're going to import the carousel. That's simple enough. But actually, let's make this its own class. What do you say? Should we make this its own component, and we'll pass the data into it?
I think that
yeah,
makes sense.
I like that. All right. So
like like its own file, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Its own file. My bad. So we're gonna stick with. Is that how you spell carousel? Did I get that right on the first try? It is.
Carousel?
Yeah, I got it. So you might see me doing this caps, and that's just because like we did React Native like Expo, and they do caps. So I'm just continuing with the capitalization of the naming. However, it's interesting because on Windows, capitalization of your file names like matters. So in my mind, it's like best practice to always use lowercase so that like if somebody comes along on Windows and tries to run this project, they don't hit issues with like file names. But anyway, yes. Okay, so let's see. We're going to import this. So we're going to need that. And then I can't remember in React Native. I know we have to use a class, but like, so what do we export? Just the class. What does it extend? I can never remember. Why am I scrolling so much? Oh, wait. No, we can just use functions still. We just can't use hooks.
Right. Because we're not on React 6. Wait, are we not on React 16?
Oh, we are. Never mind. We're using hooks right here. Oh,
we should be able to use hooks.
We can use hooks. We just can't use Apollo client hooks because
that's the one.
That is what it is. Okay, so disregard. Okay, so we're going to then need to, if I could get on the right keys, import React from React. And then we're going to export default spots carousel or just carousel.
Spots carousel. Okay. Wait. Yeah. Or maybe, yeah, because we're not gonna be able to call this thing carousel because we're importing carousel.
That's a good point. Although we could import carousel as _carousel and then do carousel. But
I like the making this, the idea of making this.
Yeah.
You know, spots carousel makes sense. I think we call other things like spot something else.
Yeah.
It's a pattern we're known to use.
It is a pattern that we are known to use. And then we're going to import. I don't know why I'm adding like this wrapping view, but just for now, I feel like I'm going to put it in here. We could maybe lose it, but I feel like we're going to need to like style this thing and do some stuff. So we'll just keep it. All right. So we've got our imports, and now let's do, so here they're using a class. I wonder if we can use like a functional component for this as well. Nemo-Eon, thank you for the follow. I know I'm not getting that right. I want to know how that is pronounced, but thank you for the follow. Okay, so yeah, we'll try.
Yeah, I think we can just pass like an inline function and into that prop. I think that will probably be fine with that.
Right? I think so too.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna grab this for now, and then we'll work backwards from there. I think that sounds good.
Cool.
Boop. Okay, so we have this. I don't think we need the ref because we're not really gonna do anything with it. Um,
Yeah, I was when I was looking at their docs, I was wondering what the purpose of that uh, was
yeah,
in the first place.
yeah. So I think this would be if you want to, because I imagine it has an API that like allows you to do things like update the
Hmm.
index and all of that stuff programmatically. In our case, we're really just going to want to listen for when the index changes, which I imagine they have an API for. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't think we'll need to programmatically set the index. So I think we'll be okay to kind of um, not do that. So let me just go for the documentation here for the regular old uh, the defaults.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. Props, methods, and getters. Perfect. Okay, so we've got data. Yep, the array of items to loop on. Very cool. Render item. That will definitely need to do. We'll figure out the slider with an item with. That's fine. Here we go. Behavior props. So this is going to be somewhere there's going to be a function for us to call to get the index, I would imagine. Or we might have to track it ourselves. No. Callbacks. Here we go.
Can you share your screen one more time?
Oh, oops. I forgot I'm not sharing my screen with you now anymore.
No worries.
There we go. So here we are. So this is what we want on snap to item slide index. So this is going to be what we want. Fired after snapping to an item. Perfect. Okay. All right. And cool. This is built on top of Flatlist, which is really important. So I want to take maybe a second to clarify why that matters and what that is. So in React Native, you have two real ways. Most people use Flatlist at this point, but I believe you still have a scroll view, which is like, I need to render a list of items. It's going to be bigger than the viewport, and I need to be able to scroll through it, right? Because it's not like a browser where you just like have like default scroll behavior. That doesn't exist. But the difference between scroll view is that the items that you pass to it, it just renders them all, right? Like it does not do any type of virtualization. And with Flatlist, it will do that virtualization. Which is really powerful because it means you can have like an infinite number of, I mean, of course, like you have data concerns, right? But long story short is you could have hundreds to thousands of items and you should get a smooth, good performant scroll view or carousel in this case, because it will only render the items that it needs to, like a couple within view. So that's why it's cool to see that this is built on top of Flatlist.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Is Flatlist like a React Native, like something that comes with React Native?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Flatlist is actually a native.
That's really impressive.
View. Yeah, exactly. Virtualization built into the native framework. Oh, gee. Hey, browser implementers, please, for the love of everything. Follow suit.
That would be huge.
Huge. I can't believe it doesn't exist. All right, enough of that. But so that's cool. So we get that kind of performance for free, and we have our function on snap to item. So let's jump back here and start to figure some of this stuff out. So we're gonna get rid of this ref. Data is going to come through props, and we'll call it spots. I think that should suffice. Okay, spots. We're gonna need a function for render item, and that is going to get some data. We'll deal with that in a second, but also we're gonna have to pass in another function, which is on index change. And so the reason we have to do this is because our map view is a level higher. And so in order to be able to respond to these carousel changes, we need to be able to kind of pass off that functionality to on snap to item. that on index change so that we can figure out, to draw that correlation. The item that we're on, we need to know in the map which spot we need to shift into view.
Okay.
All right. We good? We good so far, right?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay. This is all making sense. So slider width, we're going to jump back into spots because I think we're using this, the dimensions. Yeah, this is the code that we want. So we're going to get this. And then we'll jump back into here and we're going to have to import dimensions. And then we can say that our slider width, actually let's extract that into a variable. And the reason we're going to put this into a variable is because we also need to figure out our item width. Now,
okay. Does this dimensions get window width? Like should this be defined within the component, or should this be outside the component?
That's a good point.
Like
it could be outside. However,
will this change in between renders?
It will. What if you actually, I don't know if you have to do this specifically in a callback, but yeah, what if I flip my phone to landscape?
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it could change, but I don't know if a re-render automatically gets called for us. So what I've generally done is like that code gets very complex. So like what we would actually have is in the app component somewhere, we would re-render the app like when you flip the device. Does that make sense? So somewhere higher up.
I think so.
Yeah, but if we don't,
we're like listening to that like device flip event or something.
Exactly,
okay.
Right? And then we would want to re-render anything below that. We would put that high so that we just get a whole new layout. And so if we define the width outside of the class, it would not update if we did that. So while we're not going to do that here, because this is like an example demo app, that is one reason you would want to have it defined and pull it from each render instead of doing, because React Native is also doing the work behind the hood for you to, when it gets these dimensions, that if nothing changes, it's just going to like memoize it and return to you the number. It's not going to try to recalculate that every time.
That's good.
Yeah. So we should be good with that. So now our item width though is going to be, let's just do like device width times, I don't know, 0. What would be, like we want the edges of the next one to peek over. We want this to be probably about 80% of the width, I would say, right?
Sure.
So wouldn't,
I like that.
Wouldn't this work? Right? Isn't that how we would do that?
That'll do it.
Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
So that's going to give us that render item. Let's go look at render item and what that gives us. So item and index are arguments. Receives one argument, an object with item and index. Okay, cool. So all right, cool. But honestly, I don't think we need the index here. That's not something we're going to need because we have the item. So what we're going to return here.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, we don't need that really here. So we're going to respond to index changes in the parent, but to render the item, we don't necessarily need the index. Although there are times when you might need that. But yeah,
if you're rendering the first element or the last element or something like that,
bingo,
in a special way, you're going to want to know the index.
Yep. Okay, so now we can use view, and we're going to need to style this. It's not going to be pretty, but we're going to have a view. And for right now, let's just get something in there. Let's just get it rendering, and then we can make it all pretty.
Sounds good.
So
while you do that, I'm just going to get out ahead of this and
perfect.
Import style sheet.
Yes.
I can't spell style sheet. I tried 3 times.
You got it. That was it. Item
style.
Dot. I can't remember. I'm gonna go check our schema to see what we call this.
Name.
Thank you. Did that drag you with me? If you unfollow me.
Yeah, but I'm
Okay.
perfectly happy
Okay.
going along for the ride.
And then let's do boop, because I believe we have a description, which might be there or not, but for now, we'll drop that in. Okay, cool. So that should give us what we need for our render item. Okay. This is just render item, not this dot render item. And yeah, we have our slider width, we have our item width, we have our on index change. This is looking good. This is
Okay. How do we? So we probably want to anchor our carousel to the bottom of the page, right?
Yes.
Is that the vision?
Yes. So here's what we're gonna do. We can do.
Should we do that with styles?
We shouldn't. I don't.
Or is there?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Okay. So with React Native, it gets really weird the way that like styles work. We don't have CSS inheritance, and so the way that I have realized that I get like the easiest way to do it is that a component should always accept a styles property from its parent, and that parent will control where it's laid out, and then the styles should only affect what is within that component itself. Right? So
Cool.
yeah, so we'll add a
Yeah, that
yeah.
that makes sense.
So we'll add a third one called styles. So then what we can do is like exactly. So here is styles and it can take an array.
Oh,
You got it.
interesting. So I have to rename the styles that I created.
Well, I
this
can
should be
change it.
something different,
I'll
right?
change it. We'll call this
Okay.
like I don't even know.
Like,
Layout styles.
sure.
For now, it works.
Yep.
Gets the job done.
Something like that, right?
Actually, it'll just be layout styles because we're gonna pass in the actual
Gotcha.
like objects, the property, and then we can do an array,
Why don't we Oh, okay.
right? And so now you can have styles dot carousel comma layout styles because it works like the last one in the array will go over top of other ones, so you can like override things and you can do all that fun jazz. Does that make sense?
Cool. Yeah.
All right, so if we have carousel item, and I don't think we really need to do much styling to ours other than we should probably give it a height. Like our container view should probably have a height.
Sure.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll let you take care of that. And that's just going to be carousel. So then I could come down here and say,
Height like 200 pixels.
yeah,
or
let's
something?
do that. Let's see how that goes. We'll do that. And then for our item, let's give that a flex 1.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that it will like fill that height. And then we'll need some styles for our text. For our name, I'll say style will equal styles dot like title. Does that work for you? Or name? What do you want to call it?
Yep.
Title, cool.
I got title and description. Title's gonna get like a slightly bigger font size. And maybe a font weight. And this gets a gray color.
So Sage Dev asks, does style always take an array? Thank you. Somebody answered in chat. No, you can pass an object style or an array of object styles. And so you don't have to do that. Like you can see here, we're just saying, no, we're just going to pass in the default, but it does allow you to pass in an array where it will like do like a deep merge on top of each previous style to kind of derive that. And it does a lot of stuff under the hood to normalize that style, so it's not like you don't end up with like these huge like expensive styles. It's pretty cool actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
And to be clear, that is a React Native feature, not
Yes.
not a feature of React in general.
Yes, that is a React Native thing. Good call. Yeah. Okay, so I think that will
I have to continually like remind myself that like even though this looks like React and it like it sounds like React. There are some subtle
Yeah, a
differences.
lot. Your primitives are different. Yeah, the rendering is engine is different, right? Like the way it's rendered.
Mhm.
There's a whole lot of fundamental differences in how things behave. Styles is. Oh, you know what? Aren't items? Yeah, they're display flex by default, but we still need flex one. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's do this. So we've got that. So let's go to our spots and we're going to import this carousel now. I think I just called the file carousel, which, oh well. Okay, so we've got that. And so now we're going to, so now here, we're going to need some styles for our map view. So what we can do is, so we want to get outside of our map view, but still be within our query, I believe is what we want, right? Because we need,
Mhm.
yeah, we need the data. So we want to be within our return statements, which puts us here. So cool. So then we'll put the carousel outside of that. So it'll sit on top of it, right on top of the map. We will pass in spots is going to be equal to data.list spots.items. Unless we do some destructuring on this already? Am I like duplicating?
Not that I remember. Like we have items.
Yeah, it does not like this because I'm trying to do no. Yeah, I just need to close it. Yeah, we have
You can
items.
instead of data.list spots items, you could just do items.
Items. We'll need a function for on index change, so we'll take care of that. So I'm just gonna equals
Oh, right.
index change, and then layout styles is equal to styles dot, and this can be called anything. Did we make this yet?
Carousel.
Cool. Perfect.
No, we haven't yet, but I'm on it.
Nice. Okay. So that takes care
I'm the
of
style
that.
man.
Style man. Okay, so while you are working on that, I'll work on index change.
Should I position this absolutely, or should I just say margin top auto? Because it will.
You're gonna need to do
Will it just
absolutely,
flex?
because it needs to be removed. Actually, no, because is our map view absolute or is that just flex one?
Our map, our map is absolute. Yeah.
Then we can just do margin top auto, and that should work.
Boom.
Okay. Okay, so let's see, that's gonna save, probably break, because I think we don't have on index change defined yet. So let me go ahead and define that. So on index,
We're also importing spots carousel from carousel. I'm gonna change and then when we're rendering, we're calling it carousel. So I'm just gonna change that
sure.
the name to spots carousel there.
Oh, perfect, thank you. I don't know why I did that. Okay.
You bet.
All right, so yeah, we need on index change. Now this gets interesting because that function needs to be defined within here, actually. But now that's not going to cause a re-render. So what we need to do is we need to use state. Okay, this is going to be tricky. So here's the issue that we face. We're setting a latitude and longitude for our map based on the results of the data, right? And because we're using render props, this information is not available until here. So what we're going to have to do is once this is rendered, this is interesting. I've never really had to mix using state with render props. So we can define the function in here for on index change. Actually, I don't think we need to. I think I'm just thinking about this wrong. Is it possible to call set state here, or would that just cause like infinite re-renders?
Yeah, you can definitely call set state and anywhere inside here. The only thing that you can't do is like define a new
Ooh,
state, or like you can't use a hook inside of
yeah.
a
And I'm
function.
thinking of this
But
wrong.
you can definitely call set state.
And honestly, all we need to track is the index, right? So this can become index, which we can clearly set outside. So watch this. So we can actually say
Yep.
const index set index
Yep.
equals use state, and the default will be 0. And then we can have our function, which was on index change. And then
Yeah.
that is going to get fed an index. And then we can set index to index. This should do what we need, right?
Lots of index. In fact, because of the particular like format of this function, you know, we're gonna pass in on index change as a prop. You got it.
Yeah. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, good call. Hey, what's up, Justafi? How's it going? Just Osophy? Very curious again. I'm just not getting these usernames. Okay. Did you already update it to set index? You did. Or
yes.
Nice. Okay. So in theory, no, it's not you. That's me. Okay, so where's our carousel though? Right? I don't see it. Let me go check the console. Ah, because we have an error. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger.
Did I do something?
No.
Expected one of. Oh, I passed a number and it expected a string. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna pass a string then. How's it like that?
Let's see. Well, it does not like that either, but it's probably a different error. Can't find a variable slider with. Oh, oops. I must not have changed something there.
Slider width.
Oh, it's device width.
Okay.
What's our next error? Let me make this bigger. Cannot find variable text. Fair enough. Let me get that. Hey, there we go. So it's doing, it's a little wonky. But it is kind of working. So we have a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
Like why our styles aren't.
I wonder why my background color doesn't work.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me go look. Let me look here what we have going on. Yeah, why doesn't that work? Oh, I don't know if it respects like in the browser where you can just do like white.
I see. You have to actually provide a hex code.
Maybe, but it's still not.
Named colors are not a thing.
Yeah, it's still not doing it, so maybe I'm wrong. Because maybe we still have an error though. No, I fixed that error. That was cannot find test. Let me try to reload this real quick. Get a fresh start.
Okay.
Okay, it's working. So it's working, but now, so it's way too big. We got to figure out why it is taking up this much height. And I wonder if it's actually because we're not setting a height on the carousel itself. Let me go look at the docs real quick. Like, do you see how it's taking up like the entire view? So yeah, let me go see what's happening there.
It's interesting that like the height of the carousel that we pass is 200. The carousel item, like it seems to be respecting the 200.
Yes.
But the carousel item is like.
The carousel itself is.
Oh, wait a minute.
I think it's the carousel, yeah.
are we even using? I don't think we're even using the carousel item styles.
No. Oh, are we not?
Mm-mm.
Oh, we didn't add the styles. Well, that'll do it.
So wait, then why is the thing rendering as white? I wonder.
Oh, those might be the cards.
Maybe that's.
Let's change the background color.
Well, yeah. Let's see. We're not even using this yet, so I'll do this.
Oh, we weren't even
styles.
using it. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's right. So cool. So there's our cards.
Cool. Now we need to make it so that the carousel itself
Yes.
doesn't.
So here's what I'm thinking. Let's take
Background?
this, because this view is like not necessary. What if
Okay.
we just go here?
Slap those styles on the carousel itself.
You got it, and get rid of this.
I like it.
Let's see what that. Oh,
Okay.
well, that did not help. That made it worse. Okay, all right. So and styling is just like, I don't remember. It's hard in this. Okay. So that fixed that. But why this white background? What is this? Hang on. There's a way to do this. Show element inspector. I am tapping things to inspect them, and it's not doing anything. Ah!
So it's interesting how we.
Ooh, let's try something here. Well, first let's go look at their styles. Or does it even take a
Okay.
style prop? Like, I don't see one for style. Behavior, loop, auto. Style and animation. Here we go. Container custom style. That's right. You have to, like, sometimes it'll have like a rename. Like, and it says the default though is empty.
Yeah, this is maybe a silly question, but views in React Native are transparent
I don't know.
by default.
That's a good question. I don't know if they are. I don't think so. So let's do this. Disable. I want to get out of this. How do I? Hide element inspector. There we go. Okay. Oh, now you want to show. Ugh.
Styles carousel. Oh wait, never mind.
Did I break this? I'm just gonna reload it. So
What I'm gonna do just to test something
Yeah.
is take off the margin top auto and see if that changes anything. Doesn't look like it did, eh?
Let me reload because I was in the midst of reloading, so who knows if it actually. Oh, well, we have a warning.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. That's that. It doesn't like that
Here's
render
a,
item has an empty style. Is that still true?
Maybe. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just I'm playing with
Yeah.
some things, trying to
Absolutely.
gain an understanding here. Okay, that's pretty cool, I guess.
What is?
Well, that red
Mhm.
is coming from the container's background color.
Oh,
Yeah. So it seems like
it's a z-index issue.
even though the map is position absolute with width and height set, I think we need to set a top and a left drop on it.
I would
Maybe.
do top, bottom, left, and right. I think you might have to do them all.
But we're already setting its width
Oh,
and
that's
height.
true.
Um,
Flex 1, maybe? No.
I don't think so because it's being absolutely positioned. Just gonna try a few different
Oh.
things here. Nope. That's not what we want. Okay, so it doesn't seem to matter whether we provide top left.
Let's try something interesting here.
Sure.
Okay, so it doesn't. What's really weird is that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like this idea. We're on the same page.
Yeah, so how is this? Right, like how is that? How is the
Right.
map behind the container?
Yeah. Is it behind the container or is it just
Tiny.
like, yeah?
That's a good question. Uh, Hey, see you later. I could answer. Oh, I just saw your question. But I think you're gone. I don't know if you're here. For client effect management, I generally use. Well, we're using Apollo Client, so we handle most of that stuff through there. And then for state management, also, I tend to use Apollo Client. But I think I don't know if you're asking for like cascading effects and how we handle that. But yeah, I generally do most state management, most through Apollo Client.
Here's something worth trying. Does it have something to do with the fact that we're using a fragment? Is that like a React native quirk? Looks like the page reloaded, right?
Yeah, but now we have
No?
nothing. It's just blank because there's an error.
Because I'm double returning.
Can't find variable return. We need an N.
Oh,
There we go.
darn it.
Hey, look at that. So it's still there. So what's really interesting to me
Okay,
is,
so that's good to
yeah,
know.
yeah. So here's the thing. Let's try this. Yeah, so something is just up with the map being pushed and tiny.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
because we didn't change anything. So why? Like in theory,
Yeah,
we're now
so
back to normal. So why? Although,
in theory,
yeah,
yeah.
in theory. Although the one thing we did change is this. Hang on one second. I just need to see something. And then we'll make this back to 0. What did we do? And then look at our bottom navigation bar, how the icons are next to the thing instead of stacked. This, whatever this space is, there's something pushing both of those things.
Yeah.
Or is it just like, because how did that get pushed? Which almost makes me wonder if we're just in like a bad state. Like, did the build get broke? You know what I mean? Like, is the hot reloading on, but it's not actually hot reloading properly?
I mean, it seems to be updating in response to our
It does.
changes, and it worked when we were starting. Does stylesheet.create do anything like globally? Like,
Kind of.
if you call stylesheet create times, are those two like styles objects
Separate? Yeah.
Yeah, like are they immutable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because even if they weren't, oh, I see what you're saying. Well, let's do a test.
But I mean
Yeah.
that shouldn't
Not
have
matter.
an impact.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Okay. How did we get here? That is 100% an issue. All right, so now this has become the debug React Native layout issues.
Should we just try restart?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm also gonna uncomment the container thing.
I'm very curious to see what's happening here.
Me too.
React Native styles, they are like that. We could have used like a styling library. There are some for React Native. I don't know if that would have helped this though, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine it's just something silly that we're doing. That's usually the case for me.
Yeah. All right, so it's downloading the full new bundle. But it's just weird because like it was working. Yeah, I don't think that's what we're looking for. I don't even know what to Google.
So is this?
Oh, we're waiting. We still got.
Oh, okay.
50% of the bundle is delivered.
Got
Yeah. Yeah. See, look at that.
Oh wow, you were right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
Weird.
So annoying. Okay. So let's start to add these things.
Piece this thing back together.
One at a time. Ha! I'll be damned.
It just works?
It's just working.
What the? Okay.
Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
One thing. I forgot one piece.
We need to put back the index
You
stuff.
got it. There we go. Look at that.
Cool. We're in the ocean.
In the ocean. And then here I think we're in Africa.
Nice. And we can still move the map around. Yeah. Nice. Cool.
Neat? I think I broke it though. There we go. This is really neat.
This is, yeah.
And so now you could, you know, if this was, so if I was running this on my phone, it'd be a lot smoother and we could just kind of pan through these things. So here's some interesting things that I'm noticing, which is like, you know, and a couple stylistic changes we might want to make in the future, which would be like the bottom of the card is disappearing behind or at least touching the very bottom of the menu. So we would probably want to move this up just a hair more to make sure that it had space. So like the way that we would do that would be on our carousel. We have margin top auto, and then we could say margin bottom like 20, and that should push us up. Perfect.
Okay.
Now we've got this nice floaty carousel. It looks all beautiful and it updates, and we are awesome.
Yes. Dang. Yeah, this looks amazing for like for how quickly, you know, despite having to restart our development environment.
Yeah.
How quickly it came together.
Yeah, super quick. Okay, so that was awesome. So here's a question. It's 10 after 4, well, my time.
Yeah.
What do you think is the next step here in this? Do we want to add the ability to like update these things, to edit them? Do we want to do that? Or remove them?
Yeah, I think if we were to do one of those, I would say remove is probably
I agree.
the one of higher importance. Like if you wanted, if it's possible to in a way edit these by removing
Right.
one and creating a new one. So yeah, I would say if we can get these things to delete,
Yeah,
that would be like that kind of represents
I think so,
the
right?
last part piece of this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And so let's do this. Let's whew. Okay, so what we're gonna do is all right, so in order to delete this, what would you say if we just had on this card here like a button that we could just press to kind of just like delete it, and we could of course raise like a
Yeah,
confirm, like are you sure? And so maybe it is like the bottom of the card is just like a delete button or something like that. What do you think?
love it.
Okay, all right, so we're gonna go back into the carousel. So what that means is we're gonna need another view in here.
Maybe we are those expo icons, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
So I'm just gonna
Love it.
we can let's see. We're using ionicons. Name, size, color. Okay. Grabbing some icons. Finding a trash can.
Cool. Ooh, I'm gonna grab your icon when you're done and move it to within this delete spot text. Is that cool? What do you think of that?
Yeah, sure.
Or
I
do we
was thinking that
want
we
just the
like
button?
the yeah, we could have just the icon. I think that if we wanted to have the icon and text, we'd still want them to be separate, and
Oh,
then
they're within the view.
we'd lay them
Yeah,
out.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. All
Uh,
right.
Ionicon. I don't know if this is the actual
We can pull it in from.
icon name.
Oh, I got you.
Oh yeah, it's
Let's go see. Yes, cannot find variable size.
size is.
Probably close to what we set the text at for this, which
Maybe
we
I'm
haven't
just gonna
done
try
yet.
deleting these. Let's
Yeah,
try this.
there we go. Well, that's tiny. Those are tiny. All right, so I'm gonna start working on some styles here to kind of like.
Okay.
All right, so auto. There we go. Now we're getting there. Now we're gonna do flex direction. That's the other thing is it's flex, but it's also column by default, which is
Yep.
interesting. So there we go. Okay, so
Different.
yeah. So now we're gonna align um, center. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And so now we'll do
Cool.
delete button text, and we'll give that just like a little old margin left. 8. Nice. I like it. Yeah. And then let's set that color as well on the text.
Oh, I
Oh,
I assumed that I just assumed that it would like inherit.
no. And then I believe for the icon we will have to do color as well.
Yeah. I wonder. I guess it doesn't.
No, it's not like
I wouldn't
CSS.
expect it to be like CSS where you can say current color, right?
Exactly. There we go. Cool. Look at
Okay.
us. Okay, so now we have our view, right? So now what we need, ooh, this view is gonna change. So we're gonna need, this is our first time, is this our first time making a button? No, we did one in create spot, right? And I believe it's just button is what we wanna do. So what we're gonna do, if we go back to spots, we're going to bring, oops, no, carousel. We're going to come back up here and add button. And then we're just going to switch out view for button.
Okay.
Oh, actually, button is a different type of component. This ain't going to work. That won't work. What we really want is touchable opacity.
Okay. So this is going to like be,
You got it.
but not
But
be
like a view, more
like
like adding.
constrained by the
Yeah,
button.
you got it.
Yeah.
It's basically making your own button. Yeah. So now when we click on it, see how we get that nice little kind of fade behavior? Okay. So one thing actually that's problematic is, look, if I click all the way over here, it's still going to delete. So we could accidentally delete that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to switch this. This is going to be neat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to flip the color here to white. We're going to take our delete button is going to have margin top. Yes. We're going to we're going to change this to top, left. I don't remember if you can use an array or not, but whatever. Padding right. Now we're going to come back to our delete button and we're going to give this padding bottom of 24 and a padding. Oh, interesting. Okay, hang on. Redo. So we will make this because we can only do padding top. Oof. All right, here's what we're gonna do. New game plan. we're gonna wrap this in a view, and we'll move the padding to that for the top part. And then we'll call that style will be equal to styles dot spot info, whatever we can call it, whatever. That works for now. Okay, so now what we can do is say we can have the padding of 24. And we can add a comma there so that doesn't break. We can get rid of these. And now we could do the same thing to our delete button. Boop, like that.
Give that 24 padding. We can get rid of the padding bottom.
Exactly. And we're going to give this a background color of red and then flip the color of everything else to white.
Cool.
So that's white. This needs to become white. Heyo, but we're gonna decrease that padding because my goodness, I didn't think about that. Let's just do. Well, we'll leave padding horizontal, something you can do, which is neat. And then we'll say vertical. We'll decrease that greatly. Actually, we'll decrease that. We'll make that half. We'll do 12. There we go.
Beautiful.
Neat, right?
It's looking sharp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that touchable opacity component really shines in this kind of layout.
Right.
Like the button. Yeah. The button press is way more evident.
Yeah. Absolutely. And they have different ones. Like you have haptic feedback, opacity.
Wow.
Highlight, which will do like make it like highlight a little bit. But yeah, okay, so the last part of this is just to connect this to our mutation.
Sounds good.
So
we're gonna have to kick it old school with a mutation component.
We are gonna have to kick it old school, which means we'll probably end up moving this button to within the you are a step ahead of me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna have to remember how this works. This is gonna be called delete spot with loading.
Yeah.
There we go.
And while you're working on that, I'm gonna go look at our created schema. Oh, you might want to unfollow me first so it doesn't.
Oh yeah, I'm where we are
Oh, cool.
detached.
Okay, cool.
You're free to go.
You are free to go. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go into Amplify, back end. I'm gonna look in our build for our schema.graphql, because what this is gonna give us is the schema that was produced by Amplify, not this abbreviated schema we wrote. And so we want to see, what is this called? So it is delete spot. It takes an input, which is a delete spot input. And that input is just an object with just the ID. So the variable name will be input, and then input will have an ID. Nice. Look at that. Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna import some stuff here. So we're gonna import GQL from GraphQL tag, import mutation from React Apollo, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then are we gonna have to our own or elsewhere?
We should be able to import it. Oh, we were hitting issues. Let's go see.
Yeah, what was the...
It was saying something weird, like it wasn't like a tag, remember? Like it was like
It didn't recognize it in some way.
Yeah, we should be able to, and it would be delete spot coming from GraphQL mutations. Should we give it another shot?
Let's try it again. Why not?
Yeah. YOLO. Is it on click? On press? It's on press in React Native.
Mm-hmm.
And then I should, because you're passing the variables at the mutation level as a prop, we should just be able to put delete spot without anything else, right? Like I can just pass the handler.
Yes,
right,
exactly. So, but we just need to first import this. Where is this coming from again?
That will
delete
be from,
spot.
It would be coming from GraphQL/mutations.
GraphQL/mutations. Cool. All right, I forgot anything, but let's see.
And then add that. Okay, so we have an error, but let's see what it is. Who knows what it is? Can't find. Nope, that's got to be old. Yeah, here we go. So argument of undefined past the parser was not a valid GraphQL document node. Which is super frustrating. Let me see where that import was coming from.
Let me try something real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Well.
Oh, I imported it wrong.
Oh, is it
My
default?
Bad. One sec.
Did you import it as?
Well, I just imported it as like constant case, and it's meant to be camel case.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna fix that.
We still need GQL though, because it just gives us a string. So I don't know if that.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You're right. GQL. Oh my gosh! Copy and paste.
Copy pasta.
VS Code, please fix.
Hey. Okay, it's rendered.
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign, but we have one more problem, which is like this is a list view, and when we call this mutation, it's not going to update, right? Like it will get rid of it, but it is not going to. We're not going to see that happen live.
So we need to write an update function.
Yeah.
So we take the cache, take the data.
I can never remember how to do this off the top of my head. I'm gonna be so impressed if you just bang this out.
Let's see if we can do this here.
I'm dying
to know. what we're gonna want to do is find our list spots query. And I'm going to import list spots from GraphQL/queries, import list spots from GraphQL/queries. And then let's take a look at what that gives us. Data.listSpots.items. Okay. So let's do this. Equals cache.read query, and we'll pass it query GQL list spots, and then we'll just go cache.write query, give it the same query here, except also pass it data, and it's going to take list spots is going to be items which is list spots.items filter on items that do not items whose IDs do not equal data delete spot.id. I think that's the idea. Delete spot gives us, delete spot with an ID. So we should be good with this. Something that I like to do sometimes with when writing these is because I'm doing the same thing here, I'm passing the query, especially if the query or something to do this, but just take this, make a variable called query options.
Love it.
And then pass that here and spread it in here.
Yeah, because you could have more properties, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But this should do the trick. We're
gonna find out.
I guess
right?
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
So let's make that save. I don't think
actually, you know what? One other thing I want to do is spread in list spots, because list spots also gives us a like a next token prop. Then I don't want to lose that when updating.
So I think we are getting. Oh no, I think we fixed this because we weren't doing GQL, but we are getting this invariant violation thing. Argument of mutation delete spot past the parser was not a valid GraphQL document node.
Yeah.
Which is super frustrating.
What can I say? It's weird.
I'm curious to see though.
I don't know.
Let me clear that.
This technique works with list spot.
I just accidentally deleted the terminal instead of clearing the terminal. And so now I have to restart it. My bad.
That's okay. Yeah, this this technique of wrapping generate with create spot, and it didn't work with delete spot. So it's like it's
something with the mutations, and I'm curious what.
Right.
What is the thing that is stopping that from working? It's like
I no idea. Yeah.
Me either. So let's close that up. And I'm just so interested. Like, oops, did I just take you out of the?
Nope.
Okay. So like, what is different between these two? Because they look the same. But we can just, do you want me to copy this out and then manually bring it over?
Yeah, I think let's just do that. That's what we did for the create spot.
It is.
I think we will just do it for this.
And then I can get rid of some of this cruft because we're not going to need a lot of that data anyway. So let's do that. And so then I'll come up here and we'll put it up here near the top. We can say const. I'm just going to keep it camel case because it's already what we've got.
Yeah.
Equals GQL. Boo, boo, boo. Which means we can get rid of this. Now, what's weird is it's saying that our query for list spots is not being used, but I sure as crap remember using it.
Yeah.
Right
It's
here.
not. Oh, yeah, right. It's saying. Oh,
It might just be my VS Code like crapping the bed.
perhaps.
Yeah. All right, so let me reload.
Perhaps. Okay.
Okay, we gotta wait for it to rebuild now. Build.
Mm.
One day I'm gonna switch out our waiting music to death metal and really throw everyone through a loop.
Something nice and
Yeah.
calming. You
Yeah,
know?
some death metal to calm your nerves while the build goes. Hey, Prince! Thanks for joining us, bud. How are you?
What's up, Prince?
Okay. So we got it rendering. So, yeah, since you're just joining us, we are working on a React Native app that we're building with Apollo Client, AWS Amplify, and a couple other things, and Expo, namely, and it's really cool. So, like, you can track your skate spots, and then now we've just added this kind of carousel view that goes through and updates the map and, like, shows you where you are. And we're working on adding the functionality here to delete them. That's where we are. Ooh, what are you building? What are you building for your boyfriend? That's awesome. I love homemade gifts, or like really, like out of the box type like gifts. So for Valentine's Day, I always get Donna some kind of like different type of rose or something like that. Like maybe they'll be like rainbow colored or something like that. This time I got her one that's actually not real. It's like prismatic, so it almost looks like a glass rose, and I got her like this cool like hand vase.
Dang.
So it'll be like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's neat. I can't wait. Ooh, arcade. What a fun date. No, that is awesome. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I bet they're gonna love it. That's cool.
that sounds dope.
Yeah, that's super dope.
How do you go about like implementing controls for a Raspberry Pi? Like I'm curious to know
Super curious.
how it's gonna be controlled.
Awesome. Okay, well, hey, this is loading though, so like let's take a look at what this warning is. I believe that's our yellow box warning. Okay. All right, so there's a few OSs already pre-built. Nice. So you just got to kind of like load it up, plug in the controllers, and you're good to go. Is it like USB? Do you plug in like controllers through USB or something? Yeah, it sounds like
Cool.
it. Cool. Awesome. That is so cool. Okay, so we're good, right? Like in theory, this should work.
This should work. Yeah, let's put it to the test.
All right, so I'm gonna go delete like one of our ocean spots. We'll do test
Null
3.
Island ones,
Null
yeah.
Island. Oh, we hit an
Okay.
error. Let's see what that is.
All right. What do we have?
We have unexpected name undefined.
The heck?
GraphQL mutation props.update.
Okay.
It says
yeah, right.
yeah, so
Okay,
if we reload, so it seems like the mutation went
Yeah.
through. Oh, I wonder if I did something, because I just brought over, I forgot to delete the stuff we don't need.
What do you mean?
Well, like we're still calling ID, name, description, lat, long for the return of delete spot. I guess we get that stuff back, so I guess that's not it.
That's all.
Is it because of our list queries?
Yeah, I mean, I think a bot's query is.
Or that's what I meant. Yeah, like it's not liking
Not-
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a bummer because, like I said before, it
I think I
works, you know?
see what's happening. Ours is called
Oh,
list
yeah.
spots, and then we're getting list spots from the cache dot read query and then using list spots again. So we're like stepping on top
Yeah,
of
no, you're right.
everything.
You're right. What's happening here? This like, there's some scoping issue here where this list spots
Is a string.
is trying to like it's confused. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is just call this response. You know, we're gonna be have to be a bit more verbose here, but response list spot and
I'm
whatnot.
cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Okay.
All right, but it did delete the item, so like the mutation worked.
That's
like,
good.
It's gone.
We're
Whoa,
halfway
that was
there.
Cool. All right, so I'm just gonna reload just to make sure we're working with the latest and greatest bundle, and we'll try this again. Okay, so we're gonna flip on over, and we're gonna delete this spot. Oh, yay! The entire thing disappeared.
Well, technically that
It did
like,
remove the item.
So right now,
items.index.location. That's a valid error.
yes.
That's a valid error.
But we can
Ooh.
definitely get around this.
Yeah, for sure. But that is a tricky one. Okay, so how do we get around this? What's
We can definitely get around this. I just don't know how. No, so because we have this on index change,
yeah.
we can
we can call it. We can literally call
yeah,
it.
we can say on completed, and we can basically just check on completed. I guess we don't have any visibility of the index from within here.
Yeah, right? This gets tricky. This is tricky. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We do?
Index, remember? Comes through render item.
Right. Okay, so what we could do is check the currently index, or the currently deleted one is one in the list. That'll be the only instance where like this trips up, right? You deleted the last one in the list.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, so when the if the second last one gets deleted, the index that it used to live at it still resolves to an item. Same thing with if it's the first. So really what we want to know is index equal to
spots.length. Yeah.
spots.length -1. Then we'll say on index change to, and we can just make this last x.
It would be spots.
Oh wait, we don't want.
Where we need to go.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right.
Let's give it a whirl.
Well, we only have one spot, so I'm just gonna go create some spots real quick. So.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Did that create our spot? Yeah, because we didn't have it do anything, right? Like it just stays there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go. We'll just like make a bunch of spots around SF.
Okay.
Whatever. There we go. Oops, I forgot a space. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even test 42. Cool. Create spot. So now we go home. Hey, where's our test? Is that not working? Oh, because we're not doing the mutation there to the update to the array. So that's why that's happening. All right.
We could.
So we've got 2 and
but we won't.
yeah, right. And 42. And this is neat. So like there they are next to each other. Okay, so I'm gonna delete spot 42, which is the last one in the list, and let's see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, no, still broke.
It's probably because we're doing this on completed
and not in the update. because we're it would have to happen in update.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah. You're right. Let's try this. So. Do.
It's still not going to be pretty though, because it's probably going to shift and then the item is going to disappear. I wonder. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
no, that's good.
Ideally,
I'll take that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, the way this would work, if we break down this update function, like, we call on index change, which doesn't it's not necessarily synchronous. It tells React, here is a state change I'd like to make.
Yeah.
Before making that state change, though, React through the rest of the function, collect any other state changes, and then like repaint the browser with all of the accumulated changes, unless some async stuff. But this is all synchronous. We're good there. So yeah, both of those state changes should just occur in tandem.
Okay, so we got mad spots. Come back here, we'll reload because we don't have our.
I just noticed that they've got 2 wireless SNES
dope?
controllers.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I didn't even know such a thing existed.
Right?
I want one now. Yeah.
So how did these? These are in alpha. No, they're not in alphabetical order. What is it using to assign the ordering in AppSync? It seems just random.
It's not by created, eh?
No, clearly not.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
Maybe we can actually pass.
This works though.
We can pass a filter and a limit, but we can't pass a sort.
I think we can pass a sort, but it's okay. I don't think that that's imperative. I think what we have here is amazing. I think we've accomplished our goal, which is we built this app to track our skate spots. Yes, it is not the most fully featured, but like this is only a couple 2-hour streams together, and we have a functioning app that can literally track spots across the globe. That's cool, and it will work cross-platform. If I were to deploy this, it would work on both iOS and Android, which I'm just going to go ahead and...
Thank you. The pleasure is all mine.
Yes, absolutely. This is awesome. So let's do a recap. Do you want to do the recap of like what we built and how we went about doing it? And I'm going to follow you in case you do some code. Jump around the code.
We'll split this thing up. Many moons ago, when we tried to AWS AppSync running with Expo, and it set Kurt's computer on fire. We came back ready for action the following week. We managed to get our AWS AppSync running. We generated a schema. We set up application all just with running a few console commands or terminal commands. And once that stuff was the way, we started this app. So yeah, using Expo, and one of the first things we did was so the create spot component pop up just a nice form in I learned the sort of these different React native primitive press instead of on click. We have text inputs and keyboard avoiding views. Make the keyboard ideally push the content up. I don't think we ever
we didn't go through
to full resolution on
that.
that.
No, it was too difficult. We abandoned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But yeah,
yeah.
then once we started to get these spots created, it was time to lay them out in our app. I'll let you sort of take over from there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, going back to the creation spot, it's very Uber esque in that the map loads and you have a pin in the middle of the map. And as you move the map around, it just adjusts the pin. So, like, it's very rough. It's not working very well, like, on the simulator, but it works really well, like, on your phone and is much smoother. You know, you could zoom in and really get a detailed pin on your spot. You could add a name and description. Something that would have been cool to add in the future would have been like allowing people to take pictures or a picture to represent the spot and upload that. That is something that we discussed, like would be a neat feature. But yeah, and then we came into listing them. So we're using AppSync. So we're just pulling the data with a query out of AppSync, which is being stored for us when we create the spot in DynamoDB, is what it's using under the hood. Yeah, so then we listed them out, and then we were like, well, we kind of need a way to navigate between them. We had all the markers on the map, but we needed a way to say, well, how do I like, without zooming out and moving the map all over the world ourselves, how do we get to it? So we implemented a very common pattern in React Native. We have this carousel down here at the bottom, which is not, my computer's is done. It's like not moving. I can't get the carousel to drag. But it doesn't matter because we got it done anyway. So yeah, so we added the carousel, which now updates as we move around. And this is a really neat feature and actually a really useful app if somebody decides to like build this fully fledged. I think it could actually be a pretty big hit. You could do a lot of cool things like heat mapping areas, like to see which areas get like the most skate spots and like fun things. There's just, possibilities are kind of endless. But yeah, just to sum it up, this is where we ended up. And again, the backing technologies, we're using Apollo Client to work with our GraphQL API from AppSync, right? And we built that with AWS Amplify. So Amplify also has its own clients, but I really like the Apollo client for lots of reasons, which is, again, why we're using it. But it's really cool to show that, like, Amplify understands this, the team, right, an AppSync team, and they've made it very easy to use Apollo Client. And actually, let's go take a look at how we did that really quick, because it is one of the things that I think is the most interesting of this app. So we actually technically have this AWS AppSync client, right? And so we are importing that from the AWS AppSync package, but we're still using Apollo Provider. And because of this, right, and we plug in, and this is how we're handling auth. So like if I were to log out of the app and create a new account and log in, these would not be here. These spots would not be here because it's automatically scoped to the user account, for us. Exactly. And we did that in a schema where we defined our model and we set the auth rules. Right, so we are only allowing, actually they would show up, all the spots would show up for everyone, but you could only like create or delete your own spots, if that makes sense, right? So but anybody would be able to view all the spots. So it's a really neat feature. And then, which something we kind of didn't account for in our query, but we would want to do, which is like, you wouldn't have the ability to delete somebody else's spot. So some cards would have a delete button, some wouldn't. Long story short, doesn't matter, it's here. But yeah, so we write this like kind of short form schema, and then AppSync builds out the whole API, all the CRUD functionality for us, sets up subscriptions, all that fun jazz. Which is another way we actually could have handled these updates to the carousel. So like the way that we're doing it is just updating the Apollo cache, which really is better because it's no network involved and a lot of stuff. But we could have also set up subscriptions, and on delete item, then we could have updated the cache. Like there's options. You have lots of options. Or because anybody can create spots, we could add a subscription so that every time somebody did create a spot, it would automatically add it to our list for us, right? And just put it into our cache, and the list of spots could actually grow as we're inside the app. But so jumping back to our app.js, sorry, my computer is just like had it. Here we go. Yeah, so we take this this client, and we plug it into our Apollo provider. And now that gives us the ability to take advantage of the Apollo cache for doing like our optimistic updates and all of that fun jazz, and working with the client that we just know and love. And so that's it. That's kind of the gist. Again, it's built on React Native. We used Expo. Expo played a huge part in this project. You know, you don't really see it from the surface, but you know, we're using their icons. They have like a lot of really neat helpers that you would possibly need if you're, you know, developing like a fully fledged native app. So definitely go check out Expo. We used React Native navigation to handle our tabbing and create our navigation. And yeah, I feel like that is about it, right? That's like pretty much the gist.
Yeah, that's a good, pretty good. I gotta say it felt like the like the upfront cost everything up felt pretty heavy, but
Heavy.
then once that was out of the way, we were fine because we had everything set up for us. We didn't need to implement authentication, which is a big win. Normally that's a pretty time consuming part of any app.
Yep.
Yeah, from there it was just kind of developing and learning some of
Yeah, exactly. It's a platform, well, one that I haven't been in years. It's like odd. I used to work in this platform every day for months a couple of years ago, but it's just like you don't use
how
it.
did your
you lose
computer
it. Yeah, well, I wasn't also streaming from OBS, sharing
Sure.
screen through a Skype call, and doing a lot of other things too. So I think that plays a pretty big part in it. But
Yeah.
no, it's intensive, right? So you know, you're running the iOS simulator right now, right? That's a big part of that. I've got VS Code Live Share going, Skype screen share. So the fact that my computer even runs right now is pretty darn impressive. But yeah, and that's it, folks. And as Blades mentioned, the upfront lift was a couple hours, but when you compare that to the amount of time that you save over the length of a project, I mean, it's astronomical, the savings. And we didn't even do other things that we could do, like adding a styling library, right? Like we could bring in like styled components or Emotion Native or any of these native styling libraries. You know, it's just a lot of things that we could have done to take this a step further. Another thing that we could do, I believe this would probably mostly run on web if we told Expo to export it to web as well.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just a really interesting tool set, an interesting stack. And I would say I'm a pretty big fan of it. I liked it. I enjoyed the development experience. One thing I would love to see is like we weren't able to use hooks, as you could see. That's something that I think has got me peaked. I want to look into that and see what that would take to make that possible. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed it. Google Maps, getting that added took us all of a few minutes. It's something that I honestly thought was going to be hard, but ended up being a few minutes. One thing I do want to state though is like clearly this is not ready to be deployed like to the world, right? We you know, we built the bare bones functionality, but if you are going to use React Native to build a mobile app and you want to put it in the App Store, go read through their docs first, because there's a lot of interesting things you need to know and understand, like especially about using the Google Maps API, that you'll have to have certain things in place before you can deploy it to the App Store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me one of the big things that felt like would our experience quite is if those like built queries and mutations worked
Out of the box.
out of the box. Yep. Like I think, you know, like this was very opinionated towards the old,
yeah,
and yet the exported queries not like ready with React Apollo. So I felt like an extra kind of, you know, groan in the development. But yeah, other than that, I think it was pretty dark. And yeah, like you mentioned, the fact that it's the fact that it kind of locked us into an older version of Apollo is ideal.
Yes.
But yeah, these are all things that I'm sure will improve.
Absolutely.
I think that this is really kind of interesting. It's made me kind of get some gear turning in my head about like start doing this just like version and deploying it on my phone just as like my own personal tracking app, which because I have an Android, I guess. But yeah, it's there's a lot of so many projects in so little time. But yeah, intro to React Native.
It absolutely was. I think we're starting to get a little laggy, and I just accidentally quit out of Chrome, which means I don't have the chat open.
That's okay. I got
cool. So but yeah, I think overall good experience. Yeah, a lot of things that made me question it, but yeah, and one thing I want to say, if you have the Expo app and you just like you could actually run this project and install this app to your phone and you would have it. You don't need the app store. You don't need like an standalone SDK. You can actually run it through Expo. Yeah. But yeah, it is cool. This was a lot of fun. I think it's time for us to get out of here, right? I think we've done what we need to do. I can see that we're all jumpy in the stream. Even though I tried to close everything, it still seems like we're having some issues there. But yeah, so we're going to get out of here, folks. And we will see you next week with a new project.